yeah, so I kind of just wanted to walk you guys through some 10 steps to effectively marketing your listings during COVID-19. So here we go. So step one, obviously, taking listing photos. So some of you have the ability to hire photographers. Awesome. Some of you have to do it yourself. And so we had a class last week, for those of you that attended, where Brendan on our marketing team kind of walked us through how to do your own photography and kind of tips and tricks. And so kind of his big takeaways from that lesson was that, first things first, make sure the space is show ready. So kind of declutter everything, clean off the countertops, put away some of the personal items like in the bathrooms, make sure you're putting away like the toothbrushes and things like that. So you can actually walk through and take the photos and everything looks good as if you were a real photographer. Open the blinds, turn on all the practical lights, just so that everyone can see the space clearly and the photos come out really nice. He talked about the rule of thirds. So when you're taking your photos, to kind of get an equal balance between the floor, the main body of the photo, which could be, like the kitchen or the living room, and then the ceiling. So sometimes if you do take your photos and they're a little bit off, it can weigh down some of the photos kind of layout. And just a friendly reminder to go ahead and mute yourself when you log on. I'm going to try to mute everybody right now, but if you have something to say, feel free to unmute yourself, but just if you're not talking, keep yourself muted. Okay, so some more of his tips were to just keep your vertical lines straight by using the grid function on your phone. And so you can easily adapt one of your settings on your camera. So you can kind of just balance and make sure that you're taking a straight photo of the room. And then, of course, try to take photos at angles that show how the rooms connect and flow with each other. So if you have to do it yourself, those are his tips. You can also rely on programs like Box Brownie or the Lightroom mobile app to kind of help enhance your photos if you need to. But obviously, first things first is just to take the listing photos. And I did include a link to Brendan's webinar here as well as a link to Box Brownie if you guys need it. Has anyone gone through and tried, I'm just going to open up the discussion. Has anyone gone through and tried to do their own photography on any of their listings since our webinar last week? Even if it's just messing around at your house? I know I went through. I didn't take pictures of my house, but I did cook a bunch this weekend, so I tried to use some of his angle tips and lighting tips to get some nice photos. So it's working out a little bit for now. All right, so step two. Go to it. So while you're doing your listing photography, I also recommend going in and recording a video walkthrough. And so you have some options. When you do the walkthrough, I would first recommend doing it a couple times just so you can make sure that you kind of get a handle on the flow and how you want to walk through the space. And then if you are going to do your audio while you're walking through recording, you want to make sure that you're going to talk about the highlights of the home, the special features, maybe in the kitchen when you're talking about appliances or countertops and things like that. Or if you choose to kind of just record some actual video walkthrough, you can use Loom, which I believe it was Real Scout that talked about it, but it's a really cool platform. You can use Loom to essentially kind of do a little voiceover of your video later on. And so that way it kind of gives it a little bit more personal feel, and then you can kind of adjust your video if you want to a couple times, depending on if you're sending it to somebody or if you're just doing a general one and posting it on your YouTube channel. For those of you that are new to YouTube, I did include a link in here so that you can go in and kind of set up your channel and have some questions answered and things like that. But if you have any additional questions, just let me know. But I would definitely encourage you guys, if you're going to go ahead and just do a walkthrough, or if you're going to go ahead and do your kind of photo shoot, go ahead and do a visual or video walkthrough so that you can have that for your records. That way you can quickly send it to anybody, or you can just use it in your general marketing. And then, of course, just remember tips and tricks when you're recording a video. Just kind of take slow, steady steps, pause in each room after you show the whole space. So as you're kind of scanning through maybe the living room or a bedroom, you do a full scan and then kind of pause at a good angle so that people can see the whole space and kind of
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there a recommended time length for these? I've done a couple of them and it runs small house or whatever, or is that the guide, or how would you recommend its time lengthwise?
Yeah, so if you're just gonna do a quick video walkthrough, I mean, this maybe isn't as long as as the virtual open house kind of thing. So this one I would keep shorter. And obviously, depending on the size of the home, it's gonna be a little bit longer or shorter. But I mean, maybe at most 5 minutes. I would say maybe if you're just doing kind of the general video walkthrough, to just kind of keep it short and sweet and just kind of cover like the highlights of the home. If that makes sense. Good. So around 5 minutes at most.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Any questions on doing a video walkthrough, or has anyone practiced doing one? I know that we've had some agents, I've seen it on like your LinkedIn's and things like that. And so they look really good. I don't know if anyone had any tips or tricks or anything they want to share. Keep it to 2 minutes is what Carmen said. Yeah, 2 minutes is kind of the sweet spot for videos, especially if you're adding them to social media. Obviously, if it's a larger house, it might take a little bit longer than 2 minutes, but just make sure you keep it interesting with maybe something.
Hey, Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah, can I add something?
Oh, is this yeah, perfect. Yes.
Yeah, I want to add something about the video. Before you do the video, you need to think about where you're going to host that video. Because you can take the time to do a video, but if it doesn't end up in the location that you want it, that was a waste of time. So for example, if you want your video to appear as a link, a play link on Zillow, if you use anything other than their proprietary software, you can still link a video with Zillow depending on if you're paying them mass quantities of money, but it will not link the same way as if you use the Zillow app. So just kind of keep that in mind when if your sole intent is just to put it on Zillow, then you'll want to use the Zillow app. If you have other platforms that you want to use this video for, say like Snap or a Home Snap, or there's another one we just started using, that Megaphone.
Mm-hmm.
You can use this. You can use whatever type of video you want, but if it's specifically for Zillow, then you have to use that Zillow app.
Okay, that's awesome.
Keep that in mind.
Do they have to record it in the app directly, or can you record it on your phone and then upload it through the app?
The Zillow app only allows iPhones.
Oh.
That's correct. They only allow an iPhone. So if you don't have an iPhone, what I would suggest, and what I have done with my photographer who has an Android, is I loan her an iPad. So if you have an extra iPad or something that you can loan out, or you can use your iPad to create that video, but you're correct. It's only compatible right now with iOS devices.
Okay. No, that's really good info. Does anyone have any questions, since we have Gina on here, about using the Zillow app to upload videos, or just using your camera and uploading it to YouTube?
I did use my Droid to create a Zillow app video, but it's been a while since I did it. Is this a new rule, something that they've changed where you can only use an iPhone?
As I wasn't aware that they ever even allowed an Android, and we ran into problems with this. 360 tours now are probably the most critical part of marketing. Can you go on? It's the most critical part of marketing, and so I think people now are becoming more aware of how to do it and where to link it. But yes, when I was speaking to the Zillow people last week, trying to figure out who could do 360 tours, they said that they are not yet compatible with Android. So I don't know. I don't know that it ever was. I'm not sure.
They did allow Android for a while, and then they cut us off and said it was just too much technically for them to handle, and that you could only use iPhone.
Okay. Well, yeah, and that hasn't changed. So it's really annoying, because what we're doing is we're basically, my photographer, who's the one that does the 360 tours, and she will do 360 tours for other people, not just me, Julie Legg. I'm not sure if I added her to the vendor list or not. She does excellent work. I have worked with Julie now for over 12 years. So she does the 360 tours, and what she's having to do is she's doing the tour with the Zillow app, and then she's doing another tour with just her camera, because you can't then use the Zillow tour as a platform to syndicate to other search engines. It's really annoying. But that's Zillow for you.
Well, thank you, Gina. That's a really good point and info that I don't know. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So any other questions on kind of video recording, uploading it to Zillow, uploading it to YouTube? I think when it comes down to kind of the time length, it also depends on where you're planning to use this video, kind of to Gina's point. So if you're planning to just post kind of a quick teaser video on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, then I would keep the video shorter. I do think on YouTube, people do tend to watch longer videos. So maybe you want to record 2 different versions of it. So one that's kind of like a highlight version and one that's a little bit longer that goes into a little bit more detail. Because I think depending on the platform, people will watch both, if that makes sense. So Carmen asked, if you want to post on Facebook, what should we use to video? So what should you use to record the video? I think you would be fine to use your cell phone. Most cell phones nowadays, the camera is good. I think you just have to, again, keep in mind that you're going to walk slowly through the space, that you're going to not shake the camera around too much. You can buy a stabilizer if you wanted to. But yeah, cell phones should be fine for the most part, especially while we're at home. All right. Oh, I guess I'm going to the next slide. Any other questions on video before I move on? Again, this is just going to be really helpful. So obviously then you can limit the number of times that you have to go to the home. If you have these things on deck kind of in advance, you can use them to your benefit. Cool. All right. So step 3, obviously you need to add it to MLS. But what I wanted to highlight here was that I encourage you guys to kind of add some pizzazz to your descriptions. And just from speaking to a few agents, I know that writing a description is probably your least favorite part of the whole process. But I think it could really benefit you to kind of take a little bit more time and to kind of focus on some things that would really loop in or kind of attract a potential buyer. And so I just kind of gave some tips and tricks for things that you can kind of focus on. And then of course, the benefit of this is that when this listing gets syndicated out to all of these different platforms, that description is going to come with it. So hopefully the more kind of local specific or descriptive that you can be, kind of painting a picture in the description for potential buyers, hopefully the more buyers that are going to kind of be interested in this home. So I did also want to make sure that when you're writing your description, just remember to stay in compliance with the fair housing laws. So using something like family friendly or bachelor pad or things like that, just avoid those kind of descriptive words, but you can use a lot of other kind of phrases to describe the home and the location and things like that. So just focus kind of more on facts when you're describing it. Cool. That one's pretty straightforward. All right.
Hey, Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah, can I ask a question? Is there any good resources out there for one to get brushed up on how to make really flowery, nice descriptions?
I did come across a few articles, so I can share those in my wrap-up if you want, just some links, because I did have some nice little kind of tips to it. So I will share this in my wrap-up today, if that works.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions on kind of writing out your MLS descriptions? Cool. All right. So step 4. So creating your marketing materials. So this may seem obvious, but even though we're working remotely or you're not kind of seeing as many people face to face, you still need to create marketing materials. You just need to do them in kind of a electronic friendly version. And so I wanted to kind of just run through some of the different options that you have and the platforms that you have available to you. And then obviously if you guys are using something right now, whether it's a Remax platform or not, definitely feel free to kind of unmute yourself and share. But we did receive one flyer, I believe it was from another firm that someone shared with me. And I thought it was really nice because what they had on the flyer was a bunch of different links to different either websites or like a Google map, but they phrased it in a way where they were kind of giving a full description of the home and the community. So they had a link to the community info, and so that was just like neighborhood info or things around that location. They also had a link to the Google Map pinpoint, and so it seems kind of basic and obvious, but the way that they phrased it was like explore the neighborhood or walk through the neighborhood, and so people can virtually use Google Maps to kind of walk through and see the home, the neighborhood, things of that nature. And then of course, if you have a virtual tour or Matterport 3D, you want to make sure that you're putting that in your marketing materials. So don't just rely on adding it to your YouTube channel or adding it to Facebook. Like if you are creating a e-flyer or you're sending out an email blast, make sure that you're including those links with those e-blasts and things like that. And then obviously your listing photos, and then make sure that you're adding them onto a property website. So you can use, on the right side, you have descriptions, different platforms that you can use. So if you're looking to have a property website created, all three of these platforms will do this for you. So Design Center, you'll get your automated email when you add the listing into MLS, and they actually create a property website for you. Back at You creates a really nice one. So if you did want to link it up to your social sites, you can use Back at You to do like a listing post or anything like that. And they actually will link that post to a property website that they've created for you. And then Real Scout as well will do the same thing. And then if you need any help with virtual tours, obviously you can do your own video that you recorded when you were doing your listing photography. But Design Center also does a cute little virtual tour where essentially it just kind of combines all the photos together and does like a walkthrough of the home. So free options for all of these. As far as marketing materials go, Design Center, Deluxe Marketing, and Remax Hustle actually has a new add-on for a new listing video that you can customize with photos and description and things like that. Any questions on marketing materials? Has anyone been using the new Remax Hustle videos or anything of that nature to kind of create, e-friendly versions of your marketing materials? Awesome. Okay. They're there if you need them. And we did do some webinars on some of these topics, so obviously feel free to go back and reference those. They're all on our YouTube channel. So for the Remax Hustle videos, I can pull them up if you want, maybe at the end. But they're kind of just a short little like listing preview video. So it's just a little fun thing to mix it up if you're going to add it to maybe social media or things like that. But for that one, you can just go to remaxhustle.com. I'll put it in the chat. Oops, sorry, I only sent that to Lee. There we go. So you can go to remaxhustle.com and they have a new listing video that you can customize if you need to. Cool. Okay, so this one I thought might be a little, I guess, controversial, I don't know. But some people don't really believe in print marketing, but if you do, or if you maybe farm a specific neighborhood, typically when we're not kind of on lockdown. So I kind of wanted to share this one just so, I don't know, it's top of mind. But mailers are a really nice option right now, especially since everybody is home. And it can kind of take the place of you actually going around and farming a specific neighborhood. Like maybe you normally walk around and drop off flyers and things like that. You can use the postcards to still continue your marketing and still continue your presence in a neighborhood. But you don't actually have to go out of your house to do this. So I just wanted to include some platforms that you can use for this. So Deluxe Marketing actually has some really nice print marketing options that you can do. Design Center, Vistaprint, Express Docs, these are all Remax approved vendors, maybe with the exception of Vistaprint, but I did want to include it in here just because it has a lot of customizable options and it is super cost effective. And so all four of these platforms, you can either upload a mailing list. So if you have specific people or homes that you're trying to target, you can upload your own list. You can also do kind of the geo-targeted marketing as well. And so you can kind of find a pinpoint and do a radius around that or draw a little polygon shape and mail to everybody that is within that radius. But I think right now print marketing is kind of getting a little bit of a influx. And so if you are maybe not a huge print marketing fan all the time, it might be a good time for you to try to kind of test the waters and still kind of have a marketing presence there. Has anyone been sending out postcards? And Lee said he does do a small marketing group. He divides up his sphere and then he calls the recipients afterwards just to check in. So yeah, that's a great idea. So you can send it out to just make sure that you have a presence kind of in the mailer section and then follow up with them just to see if they got it and kind of touch base with your sphere. Questions on print? And Suzette says, yes, deluxe is great. So all of these are available to you if you need them. Again, just upload something basic if you want, or obviously you can show other kind of homes on the market or previous solds, anything that you think would kind of catch the attention of the people in that area. Okay, so step 6, announce the new listing on social media. So this may seem pretty obvious, but just as a reminder, you can use Design Center, Back at You, Megaphone, HomeSnap, Photify, and Remax Hustle to do all of this. So all of these platforms will help you create social media graphics and kind of help you market these out to the people that are following you on your social media accounts. So nothing too crazy here. Again, just wanted to provide you with the resources. And in a later step, we're going to talk about doing some sort of social media ad. But all of these, you should be able to create materials and post them within, 10 minutes if you just spend a little time. Has anyone been trying out Megaphone or HomeSnap or using Photify for any of their social media? I know I have a few Photify people on here, but I don't like to call anybody out. Perfect. So yeah, so we have a few people that are using Photify. For those of you that aren't familiar with what Photify is, it's essentially an app that you can download on your phone. And Remax has partnered with them, so they're going to give you special Remax branding. And so you can upload photos from your listings or anything like that, apply the Remax branding to it, and then share it onto your Facebook or your Instagram really easily. So it just makes it really quick, really easy for you to do all of this. And I believe Photify is free for a few months, and then it's $4 a month after that. So if you want to try it out, well, it's free. Definitely recommend doing that. And then if you're not happy with it, then no harm, no foul. Yeah, Photify keeps it really easy. And then Megaphone, we did do a call with Megaphone a few weeks ago, but essentially you're going to be able to go on there and do social media advertisements on your Facebook, your Instagram, even on Google. So if you want to advertise a listing on there, you can. They also are providing you with 1 week of free listing advertisement through Megaphone as well. And so the way that Megaphone and HomeSnap kind of work is that HomeSnap powers the back end of Megaphone, but Megaphone is the new kind of social media marketing platform for Remax. And so we have it all in-house, and they give you an additional discount if you were previously a HomeSnap member, but you can manage all of your social media ads through Megaphone through your Max Center account. And then Back at You, obviously, if you have that set up, it's linked directly to your MLS. So when you get a new listing in MLS, it feeds to your Back at You account. It auto creates a post for you. And then you have the option of either boosting that post or editing the post. And maybe there was some sort of price reduction or you want to market it a different way. You can do all of that through Back at You as well. And the Design Center, pretty simple. They're creating the social media graphic for you. Of course, you can go in there and edit it. The sample picture here on the right was actually one that I created on Design Center. It took me like maybe 2 minutes, but essentially you can create it in Design Center and it gives you an option to do a quick share onto a social media platform if you want to, directly from Design Center. Any questions on how to create content on these platforms and how to get it onto your social pages? They're all pretty easy. I think as long as you feel comfortable using your Facebook or your Instagram, it should take you only a few minutes. Good? You guys are quiet for a Monday. I guess it is raining outside. All right, step 7. So host a virtual open house. And I know we did a whole entire webinar just on virtual open houses, so I'm not going to dive into this too much. But just wanted to include it in the steps for marketing your listing. So host a virtual open house on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, pretty much whatever platform that you have the most followers on and you kind of feel the most comfortable with. So the concept for all of them is pretty much the same. The steps for marketing your live virtual open house is kind of the same. You know, obviously you want to remember to market the open house in advance. And so you don't just want to go live and hope that people are going to be on your Facebook and watching. You want to pick a good time to go live. You want to market the fact that you're going live and give some sort of like little teaser about it, and make sure that you actually are going to have people following you and watching the video as it's happening. Additionally, after you go live and you record your whole video, you want to make sure that you post it onto your page afterwards, because maybe people aren't able to view your video live or for whatever reason. If you post it on your page afterwards and you kind of market or promote it, people can come back and view that virtual open house later on. And you can also take that video and send it to people or share it with people or put it on maybe some of the private Facebook groups that you have. I mean, whatever it is that you need to do to get it in front of people, you can do that after you've recorded the video and you add it to your Facebook business page. Has anyone, since we did the Facebook Live, gone and done a virtual open house that wouldn't mind sharing maybe kind of their experience? I'm going to get one of you to talk eventually. All right, that's okay. All right, so yes, just encouraging you to do a virtual open house. Again, get in front of the camera. Don't be afraid. Video is really hot right now, even before all of this coronavirus stuff. So definitely encourage you to kind of go ahead and host an open house, even if it is a virtual one. Cool. All right. Well, step 8. So as a reminder, I know this is also next to writing a description of MLS. I think this is probably also a lot of people's least favorite thing to do, but I want to encourage you to call agents or potential buyers that you have in your sphere and kind of just promote the listing and kind of touch base with them. So if you did do a virtual open house, you can contact the agents that attended, or maybe commented or liked the virtual open house video that you posted on your Facebook page or your Instagram account, whatever. And just kind of reach out to them and ask them for feedback, just like you would do a typical open house anyways. So just because it's a virtual event doesn't mean that you shouldn't be following up with people and kind of staying in touch with them after the fact. So I also want to encourage you to contact the agents in our firm. And so I know inventory is low for a lot of people. So if you're going to just take a moment, just go on to Wolf Connect, do an email blast to everybody that would be in that area. So you don't need to market it to everybody, obviously, but maybe if it's the Charlotte listing, you want to market it to the Charlotte offices, just because you don't know. Somebody in the firm here could have a potential buyer for your listing. And if you don't send it out, they may not see it. And so encourage you to use Wolf Connect. It's there for you to use for that kind of thing anyways. And then, of course, Real Scout, I think, was it last week or the week before? I don't know what day it is, but I would use Real Scout to identify potential buyers, and you can do that directly through the Real Scout platform. So when you add a new listing, anyone else that is using the platform and has added buyers to it, if those buyers fit the credentials for your listing, it will tell you the agent's name, so you can reach out to them and ask them to log into their account and see who it is that also would maybe be interested in that listing. And if you guys need more help on kind of how to do that in your Real Scout accounts, just let me know and I can either help you or connect you with somebody at Real Scout that will kind of walk you through that process. But it should be pretty straightforward once you log into your accounts. And then last but not least, call your buyers that fit this listings criteria. So we had an awesome call last week with Verl Workman, and he had a lot of really great suggestions about kind of how to reach out to your clients, kind of walk them through the process, show them that they can still purchase a home in this market and it's going to be okay. And so I included a link to his training guides for anyone that hadn't already accessed those. But I think it was Nicole that had, he kept calling her out and asking her, you know, how do you want to talk to your clients? How do you want to get them engaged and show them kind of what's available in the market? And so he actually encouraged Nicole and all of our agents to kind of talk to them and encourage them to do kind of like a live virtual meeting with them where you show them MLS and you kind of walk through the inventory and kind of what's available. So hopefully bringing a little bit of peace of mind to the clients, but then also obviously the intention is to hopefully find them a home that they're interested in. So has anyone from the phone call tried to do Verl's suggestion? Has it worked? Any feedback? Or have you been doing virtual meetings with any of your clients to kind of touch base on the market and inventory and kind of what's going on? I think this is also a great option. So even if you call them and maybe you don't answer, or you call and you just have a natural conversation, you can follow up with a video recording. So that same Loom platform, you could highlight either your listing or a different listing and kind of see if it's something that they'd be interested in, walk them through the home itself, or just leave them a short little video, hey, I thought you'd be interested in this, and send it out to them as kind of a little follow-up. Again, trying to stay in as much contact with everybody as possible. Cool. Any questions on follow-up or Real Scout? Julie said she did a few Zoom calls last week and they were great. Clients were happy to hear from her and hear about the market. So yeah, I think a lot of people would appreciate a phone call, even a text, or however it is that you communicate with them, just to kind of check in and let them know that you're thinking about them, answer any questions they have. I mean, I'm sure they have questions. Kenny said, I haven't done a virtual call with clients, but I have been talking to several each day and they're happy about that. Yeah, I think people want to be thought of, especially right now. Awesome. Thanks, guys. All right, so call agents or potential buyers, just a reminder, and there's links in here if you need them. And then step 9, so consider some sort of comp style email blast. And when I say comp style, I want you to take your listing and kind of compare it to some of the other homes that are on the market. So especially if inventory is low, this is a really great time to kind of show the pros of your listing. So if it has a little bit larger of a lot of land, if it has a really great location, or the drive time is shorter than some of the homes on the market, obviously if there's a lower price, things of that nature, I think that's a really good selling point and a really good talking point to some of the agents or buyers that you're going to market to. So again, it's just talking about bringing value to the listing, comparing it to other homes on the market, and again, really just getting in front of potential buyers or agents that have potential buyers in a different way. And so you can use the platforms on the right, the platforms like Design Center. Eventually, Booge will allow you to do this and kind of send out to your whole database. To my knowledge, I think they're still working on some of the email campaigns and things like that. But eventually, you'll be able to use Booge. In the meantime, you can use Design Center if you're wanting to use something within the Mac Center platform. And then, of course, if anyone has BombBomb or MailChimp, those are really great options as well to kind of let you customize an email campaign and send it out to a list of people. So BombBomb is just a little bit heavier on video. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, it's just an email platform. Gives you option to include videos if you wanted to do that. So you can include videos from your virtual walkthrough. You could include a video that you recorded with the Loom platform. I mean, whatever it is that you wanted to include, that one just has an emphasis on video, and then you can customize the rest of the email. And then MailChimp is just kind of like your typical email platform. And so it lets you customize, add your own photos, change your text, coloring, all of that kind of stuff. So if you wanted something a little more custom than the Design Center templates or what Booge lets you do, BombBomb and MailChimp are really good options for that. Has anyone been using BombBomb? I know that's a big one with Remax corporate, so I think it gets promoted a lot. And of course it includes video, which is always good. Awesome. So Lizette uses BombBomb. Yeah, so I think it's both of them. I've used both. We use BombBomb obviously for a lot of the internal emails that we send out. Candy says she uses BombBomb. And it's really easy to use. It kind of has a similar style to Booge, to be honest, where you can only select certain type of content to include in it. And so you pretty much just build out your email with different types of content, whether that's video or text or images or links. You can do all of that. Cool. Has anyone considered doing any type of, and yes, Lizette did say that BombBomb does integrate with Booge, so very helpful if you already have all your contacts in Booge. And I think that part is working to my knowledge. Let me know, Lizette, if not. But I think the Booge and BombBomb integration is live now. Cool. All right, any questions on the kind of the comp style email blast? Again, when you're doing these, I want to make sure that you're kind of relying on facts so that you don't offend anybody or anything like that. So whatever comps or whatever highlights that stand out about your listing, just make sure to market those, but just do it in a positive way. But I think it'll give a nice little edge to, okay, to your marketing. All right, and then step 10. So if all of these things aren't working and you still have your listing on the market, consider creating a social media ad campaign. So if you have the budget, and it doesn't have to be a big budget to do this, but you can do a paid social media ad campaign, and that can go out to Facebook, it can go to Instagram, it can go on Google. I mean, whatever it is that you kind of want to do, or the platform that you're most comfortable with, you can market it to people on there. And so I kind of wanted to break it down, because I know there's a lot of different types of kind of targeted advertisements. So if you really want to focus on marketing to your sphere or contact list, AdWorks is a great option. You can access your AdWorks account through Mac Center, but AdWorks allows you to upload kind of a contact list and kind of follow those people around with your custom ad. And so if you have a listing, obviously you want to market your listing to those people. If you want to just market yourself or a previously sold home, you can also do that. It lets you customize the ad if you need to. But that's a great one if you already have a sphere of people that you want to focus on. For kind of more general targeting, so like geo-targeting, or people that have specific kind of search criteria or preferences, or they're following certain groups. So like maybe it's they follow a country club and you are marketing a home that you have listed in an area where there's country club, you can kind of focus on that. But if you're going to kind of go that route where it's more specific targeting to people that you're not necessarily connected with, I would use something like Megaphone, Back at You, or just go directly onto your social media platform that you want to market on and create an ad that way. And so that way you can kind of customize the criteria a little bit better versus just when you're using your sphere to connect with. You can do that through AdWorks. And then just as a reminder, so if you are going to create some sort of social media ad campaign, make sure that your post or your ad is actually linking to something. So whether that's a property website or a contact form or your personal website, whatever it is, it's a total preference kind of thing, but just make sure you're connecting it to somewhere so that hopefully you can capture that lead information a little bit better. Anyone have any suggestions? So,
Sarah, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sorry. So say you created an ad, a social media ad, and you decided to run it for like 30 days. So then the property goes under contract. How do you take that ad off so that you don't continue to get charged?
So it would depend on like what platform you were using. Some of them like AdWorks and I believe Megaphone, if the home goes under contract, you can get like a credit so that if you decided that you wanted to just save that for another listing, you could do that. Or if you wanted to change it so that once it's actually sold, you could then market it as it just sold. I mean, it kind of depends. I believe, I'm not entirely sure about Facebook, like if you go directly through Facebook and post it, I'm sure that you can customize the ad while it's still running. I'm just not sure if you have the option of getting some sort of credit or taking it down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think this agent used Megaphone, so maybe they can alter it, but it was the first time, and so they threw like a lot of money at it, and I think the house is sold now.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I would still definitely consider marketing it as a sold, just because, again, that's going to just market yourself and kind of your business. But I would definitely reach out. If they need a rep for Megaphone, I can send them over who I've been working with, but they hopefully maybe would be able to get a credit so that they can use that on a different listing if they needed to.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. And then Lee in the chat said AdWorks does a free ad for each Remax listing. So you can go in and add your client's email to the AdWorks for free. Additionally, since we promote AdWorks internally, if you add in your client's email address to SkySlope, it will actually link it up to their ad during that free period as well. And then of course, yeah, so Lee said that if you use AdWorks, you do pay up front on that. But I have been told that they will give you a credit if you call them or contact them and just say, hey, my contract went, or my listing went under contract, I want to pause this and then use that for another ad campaign. They are somewhat flexible with that. Any other questions or suggestions, or anyone that's been doing kind of listing advertisement on any of the social platforms? Any tips or tricks that you've noticed? All right. So Danielle said you don't have to call them, you just log in and cancel the campaign. Perfect. But you do have to go in and remember to cancel it. Otherwise, you'll just pay completely through. So yeah, you can definitely jump in and pause your campaign if you need to. And then Bala said advice, whenever someone uses AdWords, they need to make sure that they keep updating the campaign with the listing price changes as well. So I guess it doesn't do an auto feed from MLS, but if you make any changes to the listing price, you need to go in and change that on your AdWords account. And Suzette, I will reach out to you about your design center stuff and see if we can get that figured out. I believe if you are trying to create social media campaigns through Design Center, you can go in and select certain projects that, or templates that you can customize the title on them, so that maybe it may show you in the sample that it'll say open house, but you can change it to price reduction or something of that nature, or under contract. So just make sure that you're using the templates that have kind of an editable title field for Suzette. And yeah, if you're going to do the ads online, just make sure that it's including like your personal contact info. So sometimes like in AdWords or something, it'll pull from your Remax profile and it will show your office phone number. So just go in and make sure that it's customized to your liking before the free ad goes out. And of course, yeah, you can add in areas, specific areas if you want to as well. Perfect. Oh, and Bala said that sometimes it will, on AdWords, show 4 bathroom when it's actually a 3.5 bath. So you do have to go in and correct that manually. So yeah, so I would definitely log in. So once you're putting your listing into MLS, I would definitely hop into these platforms. If they're going to create the ads for you automatically, awesome, but you want to make sure that the content that's going out is accurate. So maybe jump into your AdWords account, jump into your Megaphone account, and make sure that that content comes through correctly and make any adjustments to the ad if you need to. And then on Back at You, same concept, you just log in and you can make any adjustments to the ad itself. Although I haven't heard anything about Back at You altering kind of the content in that way. Whoop. Any questions on social? If you need help creating social media content, definitely let me know. We went through Design Center and the marketing portal, I believe, in one of the webinars, but if you need something specific, like for Facebook or Instagram, definitely let us know. Cool. All right. So my 10 steps are done, and I'll share this PowerPoint so that you guys can have reference to all the links and all the different platforms and things like that. But I did want to give you one reminder. So obviously, once you have kind of your new process down for listing, in marketing a home during COVID-19, I think it's really important to go back into your listing presentation and make sure that you're updating it with this type of information. So the sellers that you're going to be marketing yourself to or going on listing presentations with kind of know that you have a process in place that will kind of be altered just because of these current situations. So if you need a listing presentation, this is also a good point, there is a new updated 2020 listing presentation on Wolf Connect. So it's right on Wolf Connect on the main page under Office Links, and it says 2020 listing presentation. But if you guys have any questions on that, definitely let me know. If you need help updating your listing presentation, myself or the marketing team can kind of help you with that, but I would definitely recommend, especially right now, because we don't know how long we're going to be in lockdown, is just updating it so that they can see that you've made some adjustments to your typical process during COVID-19. But other than that, do you guys have any questions, comments, anything you want to share, anything that you guys are doing in your listing marketing right now? that would be helpful that wasn't mentioned? If not, then I think that's a wrap for today. So thank you guys, and I'll share this information with you, and then just let me know if you have questions on any of these platforms or any of this technology if you need it. All right, you guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.